Hey everybody, this is Laura from Cheerbo Supply, and today I'm going to show you how to use our downloadable templates with your silhouette cutter to make this kick swish cheerbow.
Okay, so I have my Silhouette Studio software open, and I'm going to bring the file into my software. So I'm just going to click File, Open, and then wherever you saved it, you'll have to navigate to that. And the file that you get from us is a zip file, and you have a few different file versions in that zip. If you're using Studio, you need to open up the Silhouette Studio version of the file. Just click OK, and you'll get 4 different pieces. This piece right here is just a design preview, and then this is the bottom layer, this is the middle layer, and this is the top layer. This yellow box around it is like a weeding box that some vinyl cutters use. You really don't need it with Silhouette unless you're making a really large amount of them. So the first thing you'll need to do is select the whole entire group of pieces here. And then you click on Object and go down and click Ungroup. That will separate this all out so you can make some modifications. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get rid of this design preview. And then in Silhouette, I always delete the yellow boxes. And now you have the 3 pieces that you need to make your bow. I'm going to move these 2 pieces out of the way. I'm not ready for them yet. This is the bottom layer, and my mat is not long enough for this piece. So I'm going to switch it to the Cameo 12 by 24. And then I'm also going to change this white box. This is the piece of the vinyl that I'm going to use. I'm going to need about a 7.5 by 14 inch piece. So I'm going to highlight this since we need 2 pieces of this. I'm going to go to Object, Replicate, and Duplicate Right. And that will give me another piece that I can now send to my cutter. So I'm going to move these out of the way since I finished with them. And now I'm going to take this middle swish piece. And this I'm going to also duplicate. So I'm going to highlight it, but when I go to replicate, I'm going to do mirror right, because you need the 2 sides that mirror each other for the bow to look right. And now I'm going to send those to the cutter, move those out of the way, and you're going to do the same thing with the smaller piece. Go to Object, Replicate, and Mirror Right. Move it over a little, and you can go ahead and send that to your cutter. And then you'll have all 3 pieces that you need to make the bow.
Okay, so now I have all 3 pieces cut. This is the top layer. You can see I did the mirror cut. And this is the middle layer that I did in white glitter flake. And this is the bottom layer. Now because you have to make the bow one side at a time, I'm just going to cut these apart. For this bow I'm using 3-inch wide black grosgrain ribbon, and I'm using 30 inches. I'm going to put the ends together, and then I'm just going to iron a crease at the center point. Now I'm going to unfold my ribbon. I'm going to lay it flat, and you're going to work from the bottom up. So you're going to take your bottom piece of the vinyl that you cut that has the V cut, and you're going to lay it right on top of your ribbon. Now you're going to take a pressing sheet, lay it right on top, and you're going to take your iron, and you're going to spend about 3 or 4 seconds on each section. Don't have to be exact, just make sure you get some heat across the entire piece. And we're not going to completely adhere it permanently yet, because this has many layers. You have to iron it many times. So we're just going to pull up this while it's hot, and your edge probably will try to peel up with you, but it should be sticky enough just to stay on your ribbon for now. Okay, now you're going to take your second piece, which I'm using the white glitter flake, and of course you can use any materials, any kind of vinyl or color that you choose. And I'm going to lay that right on top of my silver glitter flake. And now I'm going to iron this again. Just make sure everything is straight. Cover it with my pressing sheet. And again, I'm going to spend about 3 or 4 seconds in each section. I want to get it hot enough so that it starts to stick to the layer underneath it, but not so hot that I'm going to be overheating it every time I iron on another layer. So peel it away, and again, your edge probably will try to come up with that carrier sheet. Just press on the edge and pull it, and it will stick down for this process, and we'll do a final layer at the end just to make sure everything is adhered down. Okay, now you're going to take your top piece. That again, we have the 2 mirror cuts, so cut them in half if you have them together like mine. And then align it with the rest of your design. Okay, so cover with your pressing sheet again, and we're going to go over it quickly one more time. And typically, layering glitter flake vinyl is not recommended, but that generally applies to apparel, something that you would be washing and drying. For cheer bows, since they don't go through the washing machine, it's basically like you adhere it and you're done. You can layer glitter over glitter and it will stick. Okay, so go ahead and peel that back again. And now we're going to go over it one more time, and that will make sure that all of the edges are firmly sealed down and you shouldn't get any corner lifting at all. And when you iron, make sure that you iron it down on a firm surface. You don't want anything that's too smushy. If you have an ironing board with a thick padded cover, you're going to want to use maybe a board with a towel over it, something that has a firm surface. And you want to use pretty firm pressure. Okay, so now you have that one side complete, and now you're going to flip your ribbon around, and you're going to do a mirror image on the other side using the same pieces. Okay, so now you have both sides complete. You're going to fold them, cross them in the center like this. Make sure that your tails are even at the bottom. And then you're going to, this is where you're going to look for that crease that you ironed in the very first step. Make sure that crease is straight and in the middle and the back. And then you're going to fold the center back and forth a few times, kind of creating like peaks and valleys to crease your center. And because vinyl will really want to spring back and open up that center, you're going to use a zip tie to keep that center from ever popping open. So put your zip tie in the center and pull it only halfway. And that way you can check things, make sure that everything is symmetrical and that your tails are even and your loops are even. And this is what the front should look like. Once you are satisfied with how everything looks, pull that zip tie as tight as you can get it, and then trim off the extra. Okay, and now you're going to take a hot glue gun and put some hot glue right on the back of the zip tie. And take your elastic ponytail holder and glue it right onto the zip tie. Just give it a second for the glue to cool down and dry. And now you're going to add your center wrap. And for this bow, I'm going to use a piece of 3/8 wide black glitter velvet. So I'm just going to put it right on the center. Probably need about 3 or 4 inches, and then you'll need to trim some off as well. But you want to have extra when you pull it around the front. and then bring it around to the back, and just make sure that you cover up your entire ponytail holder. Put in a little bit of extra glue at the end and wrap it around tight. Now just trim off your extra piece, and you have your center of your bow complete. Now just one last finishing touch. I'm going to take a wood burner, and I'm just going to very lightly run the wood burner across the edges of the cut ribbon. I used where the vinyl was cut in a V-cut to help me trim those tails evenly, but it still does leave a little bit of exposed cut ribbon, and you don't want that to fray. So if you just run a wood burner across the edge, you will melt the very edge and it will not ruin your bow. And your Kick Swish glitter vinyl cheer bow is complete. All of our supplies and additional downloadable templates are available at cheerbowsupply.com.